Hey guys, Danny Explosion back here today, and today is going to be an album review of the new Slayer album that just got released yesterday. Slayer really needs no introduction. If you're a metalhead, you obviously heard of Slayer. So I'm just going to skip the introduction and go straight to the review. Some album info includes this is their 11th studio album, and this album is off Nuclear Blast Records. They've switched labels because of label issues with the American records, so they're Nuclear Blast. This is the first album to feature Gary Holt, and the first album not to feature Jeff Hanneman. May Jeff Hanneman rest in peace. So the lineup is Gary Holt and Kerry King on guitars, Tom Araya on bass and vocals, and Paul Bostoff makes a return on this album doing drums. And this album was produced by Terry Date, which is one of the most legendary metal producers ever. And it's 12 tracks, and it clocks in about 42 minutes. My expectations weren't really high for this album. I mean, I was pretty good, but without Jeff Hammond, I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I read interviews with Kerry King saying that, oh, this is going to be a Slayer record. And you know what? I agree with him. This album reached above my expectations and shocked me. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, this is probably one of the greatest albums they released since God Hates Us All, and I really enjoyed that album. They still pulled it off and released a really good record. Without Jeff Hanneman on Slayer with Kerry King and Tom Araya still managed to stay consistent and released a very, very good album. I mean, there's a lot of good things to say about this album. I mean, the guitar work with Gary Holt and Kerry King, I mean, they were excellent. And with the song You Against You, both of their leads got time to shine, and it just showed how fucking wicked their soloing can be. And the guitar tone on this album is really, really heavy, and it packs a major punch, along with the drumming on this album, because Paul Bostoff can be a very intense drummer, and it just adds to the intensity of this album. And the vocals by Tom are good. They're just kind of like a tad bit weak, and they add a bit of reverb to his vocals, I can tell, on this album, but his vocals were still very, very good, and I really enjoyed it. But one thing I really enjoyed about this album is that it kind of has like a South of Heaven, Seasons in the Abyss vibe to it, because those albums add variety in the song structure, and so did this album. I mean, there's slow songs, fast songs, mid-tempo songs. I mean, this album has a lot of variety with rarely any filler on it. And the bass work on this album just was very, very good. You can hear it as depth. Very, very good work by Tom Araya. But yeah, I mean, this was just an excellent, excellent release by Slayer, nonetheless. I mean, some songs I really did enjoy on this was Cast the First Stone, kind of like a slow, very hard-hitting track with a very intense, I think, drop B tuning tone to it that I really, really enjoyed. Vices, which is, to me, a very, very catchy song that I really enjoy with some awesome riffing. The title track, Repentless, which is a very fast song with very wicked leads that I really enjoyed that kind of reminded me of old Slayer. Chasing Death, that's another awesome, great, great song I really enjoyed off this. It has that kind of God Hates Us All, mid-tempo kind of style to it, which I really, really enjoyed. Atrocity Vendor, that's another song I really liked on this album. It's kind of got like a big punk influence on it that I really, really enjoyed. It's a pretty fast song. I really liked it. Kind of has that undisputed attitude to it. And You Against You, which was a very, very great, wicked soloing song that got time for Kerry and especially Gary Holt to actually just shine with their wicked leads that I loved. But yeah, overall, This album kind of shocked me and proved me wrong that Slayer can still pull off a really, really good album. I mean, even though Gary Holt didn't write any material on the song, his solos and leads were very, very good, and so were Carey's. But yeah, I mean, I'd give this album an 80 out of 100. Yet again, another great 2015 release. Alright, this was Danny Explosion with my album review of Repentless. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. As always, stay brutal, keep it metal.